Hi, I'm Rob from B&H, and we're taking a look and a listen to 3 new additions to Teenage Engineering and Cheap Monday's line of pocket operators: the PO-20 Arcade, the PO-28 Robot, and the PO-24 Office. Like the originals, these new pocket synthesizers offer some fun, quirky sounds in a chiptune kind of vein at a great price point and weigh just a little over 3 ounces, including the 2 AAA batteries that power them for up to 72 hours of continuous use. They also feature a 16-step sequencer that can store 16 patterns, and up to 16 patterns can then be chained together for longer compositions. The LCDs feature both charming graphics and some useful info, while sound comes out of the built-in speaker or the headphone jack. Fans of classic 80s arcade games will appreciate the 16 sounds on the PO-20 Arcade, short percussive hits and bass sounds on the first 2 rows, longer arcade effects on 3, and melodic tones at the bottom. Sounds can be tweaked with the A knob, which changes the pitch, while the B knob changes the texture. If I hold the pattern button, I can choose one of the 16 patterns. Hitting the BPM button toggles between 3 preset BPMs, which you can fine adjust anywhere from 60 to 240 beats per minute. Also, by holding the BPM button down, I can dial in swing with the other knob. To create a pattern, select a sound, hit the right key, and light up the steps in the grid where you want to trigger. If you hold the trigger button down, you can dial in the note value for that trigger with the A knob and a textural setting or parameter lock with the B knob. Effects can be triggered by holding the Effects button down and selecting one of the 16 buttons. Effects include mutes, low pass and high pass filters with different LFO speeds, and stutter effects. The Chord button tunes the playback of the sounds on the first 3 rows to a chord while leaving the pitch of the melody sound alone, and you can program those chord changes to loop in sequence. By holding the Chord button down, you can also dial in the volume of a backing drone with the A knob, while the B knob increases the amount of sidechain compression on it, and yes, the drone follows the chord sequence you programmed. Finally, if a pattern is playing and you press the Effects button and then hit the Play button, you'll trigger an automatic fade on the master volume. Next up is the PO-28 Robot, and it's designed more for leads and melody lines. With the Robot, you get several different waveforms to choose from, either in a high register, 1 through 8, or a lower register, 9 through 16. Various pulse waves, a square wave, and some mixed waves are available. Sounds are the same except for the last sound in each register. So sound 8 is a 4-bit triangle, while sound 16 is a micro drum kit with 16 bleepy percussion sounds available. Once you select a sound, you can play it melodically on a fixed scale using the 4x4 grid. Knob A changes the texture of the sound with detuning and vibrato, while Knob B changes the release time, and at its maximum, a note will sustain indefinitely until the next note is played. Holding the glide button down gives you a tiny pitch glide effect between notes, and that's actually more noticeable when you release the note. The sequencer has 2 channels, one for melodies and a second for the micro drum machine. With the micro drum machine, you'll step program the sequencer by lighting up triggers on the grid and then dialing in the sound you want with the A knob. Holding a lit step and hitting the BPM button triggers the step multiplier with up to a maximum of 8 re-triggers. In addition to step sequencing, you can record melodies by holding the right button down and playing notes on the grid. Your playing will get quantized to the set swing value. 16 effects are available, ranging from filter effects, repeats, glitches, a noise effect, and a cool gated effect. The last pocket operator in the new lineup is the PO-24 Office, and indeed the first 8 sounds include floppy disk drives, a matrix printer, toggle switch, and other mechanical sounds from a typical 80s office. Those are supplemented with 8 additional tones, including hard sync and ring mod sounds, and a nifty kick drum. Again, what the knobs do is sound dependent, but the A knob usually alters the pitch, while the B knob alters the release or adds compression. Step record and live record modes are available. Effects including filtering, bit crushing, gating, noise, and more are on board. Unique to the PO-24 Office is a solo function, which you can use to create some on-the-fly breaks during performance. At this point, I'm sure you get the general idea. Now, as you saw in that intro, the pocket operators can be synced together. Chain the output from one machine into the input on the next one. If the sync mode is set correctly, the units will generate a click for sync, but you won't hear it in the summed output of the last machine. They will also sync with other instruments, including the Chord Volcas, and I figured out a better way to do this since the video we did for the first set of POs. Set the PO to SY1, and with a splitter cable from its output, use the ring side for audio and connect the tip side to the Volca's sync input. Press play on the Volca and it'll start when you press play on the pocket operator. They're sold without casing, but they are sturdier than they appear, and TE has optional cases coming for all of them. You will have to break away the hanger to mount the case, though. In addition to the clock with alarm function that we saw on the originals, these new models allow you to manually shut them off by hitting the sound and right keys. Otherwise, they simply shut themselves off after a period of inactivity. Also, pressing sound and BPM now displays the battery status. That's a welcome addition. Finally, these new POs offer a factory reset if you're dexterous enough to hold the pattern and right buttons down while inserting the batteries. So there's an overview of Teenage Engineering's 3 new pocket operator models. I'm Rob from B&H, and thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.